Hi everyone, this is a new video. I'm gonna talk about a very public matter. It was between two actors that was lead into a court case. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. You guys have may heard it is one of the most popular case that was running in the court live last year. So, so what was the case about? There was a defamation case by actor Johnny Depp against his ex-wife Amber Heard that came to an end in Wednesday after a seven-person jury unanimously ruled over favor of Depp, saying that it was around 2022, April 2028. But what preceded the case? Johnny Depp and Heard's relationship began more than a decade ago, eventually devolved into appears to have been a toxic marriage. The couple split in 2016. They battled in court over a op-ed Hard wrote for Washington Post in 2018, in which she described, Amber Heard described surviving domestic violence without mentioning Johnny Depp by name. Then Johnny Depp sued for $50 million in damages. The jury unanimously found that Amber Heard could not be substantiate her allegations against Depp that she knew her claim of abuse were false when she published her 2018 essay. The jury determined that Heard acted with actual malice that writing her op-ed. The jury awarded Depp $10 million in compensatory damages and $5 million in punitive damages in the defamation suit. Amber Heard had countersued for $100 million and said she was only ever violent that Jeb in self-defense or defense of her younger sister. Heard's countersuit centered around the three statements made by Depp's former attorney Adam L. Wildman in 2022 Daily Mail, in which he described Amber Heard's allegation of abuse as a hoax. The jury found that Depp, through Wildman, defamed Heard on one count. The jury awarded Heard $2 million in compensatory damage, but $0 in punitive damage. Here is the timeline for Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's relationship leading up to a court case. 2009, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard met during the filming of The Rum Diary, a film based on the novel by Hunter S. Thompson. Johnny Depp played a Paul Kemp, a journalist who moves to Puerto Rico and becomes obsessed with playing by Heard, who is engaged to a businessman. 2012, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard began dating, according to court documents from Heard. The same year, Johnny Depp and long-term partner Venetia Paradis end their 14-year relationship. 2014, Amber Heard is spotted wearing an engagement ring, and Johnny Depp appears to confirm the engagement later in interviews. Eventually, the engagement is confirmed in the Daily Mail. 2015, Amber Heard and Johnny Depp get married in a private ceremony. The couple comes under fire for sneaking their dogs, pistols, and boo in Australia. The pair later released on some apology video. Amber Heard is eventually charged with two counts of illegally importing pistol and bow in Australia and one count of producing a false document. In 2016, in May, Amber Heard files for divorce and is granted a temporary restraining order against him. Amber Heard claims that Johnny Depp has thrown a phone at her, leaving her bruised. During the entirety of her relationship, Johnny Depp had been verbally and physically abusing to me, Amber Heard says in declaration. He had a short fuse. He is often paranoid, and his temper is exceptionally scary for me. She writes she was living in fear that Johnny Depp will return to home unannounced to terrorize me physically and emotionally. A judge rejects Amber Heard's request that Depp attend a year's worth of anger management classes and refused to extend the protective order to the couple's dog. Police do not press charges against Depp, which also denied attacking the actress. Later, in joint statement, the couple announced they have settled their divorce. In 2017, the couple's divorce is finalized. In 2018, Amber Heard writes the op-ed for Washington Post at heart of the defamation lawsuit. In the op-ed, she writes, "I become a public figure representing domestic abuse. I feel the full force of our culture's worth of women who speak out." Amber Heard's article mentions her experience with abuse from her childhood to adulthood. It doesn't include Deep's names. At the crux of the article, Amber Heard asks for support for women experiencing domestic violence. So in 2019, Depp sues Heard for defamation, claiming the Post article was a rush for Amber Heard to gain up positive press for herself. Depp also claims she is not the victim of domestic violence, but instead the predator perpetrator. Johnny Depp asks 50 million in damages. 2020 audio of Amber Heard allegedly saying she hit Depp is published on Daily Mail. Later, the Liberal trial held in the United Kingdom over the British newspaper The Sun, calling Depp a wife beater. Depp sues both executive editor Dan Wootton and The Sun's parent company News Group newspapers. Depp's ex-partner Paradise defends Depp by submitting a statement saying the actor is the farthest thing from violent person. Depp brings forward claims that Hard had affairs with businessmen Elon Musk and actor James Franco. He also claims Hard put her own facial matter in her bed and was physically violent towards him. Domestic abuse victims must never be silenced, and we thank the judge for the careful consideration and thank Amber Heard for her courage in giving evidence to the court. The newspaper says in the statement. After the ruling, Depp posted a statement on Instagram saying that he had been asked to exit the Fantastic Beasts franchise. "I wish to let you know that I have been asked to resign my Warner Bros. From a role of Fantastic Beasts, and I have been respected and agreed to the request," he writes in the post. In 2021, Amber Heard countersues Depp for 100 million. In 2022, on April 11, the weeks-long defamation trial kicks off with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp appearing in court in Fairfax County, Virginia. In the defense opening statement, Attorney J. Benjamin reads the entirety of Heard's post-ep in the jury and tells them that the actress exercised her right for free speech. In April 19th, Johnny Depp takes the stand and testifies over the course of 4 days. Attorneys of Johnny Depp lay out the evidence of Heard's alleged abuse, while Heard's lawyers focus on Depp's past drug and alcohol use, text messages, and recordings claiming Depp perpetrated the violence, while on the hand, Depp claims that Heard would instigate arguments and escalate their feuds. At the end of the 4 day testimony, when asked about the lost due to the Heard's appeared in the post on the post. Depp says nothing less than everything. At the start of May, Heard fired her crisis public relationship from precision strategies. Heard reportedly had been frustrated by the negative coverage she had received following Depp's testimony. Heard's new team is led by David Sain. During the first day of her testimony on May 4, Heard paints a picture of a man who oscillated between addiction and sobriety, which she said made it hard to continue the relationship. On May 25th, Johnny Depp returns to the stand. It is sent to hear heinous accusation of violence, sexual violence, and that she attributed to me, that she accused me of. Johnny Depp says, when asked what it had been like to listen to Heard's testimony, I don't think anyone enjoys having a split themselves open and tell the truth, but there is sometimes when one simply has to begin. It gone out of control, horrible, ridiculous, humiliating, ludicrous, painful, savage, unimaginably brutal, cruel, all false, all false. Heard also returns to the stand by May 26 before closing state arguments. She says she has been inundated with death threats since the start of the trial. Protecting the secret that I did for such long I did has taken enough of my voice, Heard says. Johnny had taken enough of my voice, the right to tell my story. I have the right to say what happened. I have the right as American to talk what happened to me, to my own story and my truth. On that May 27th, the jury hears closing arguments and begins deliberating. The jury, comprised of 7 members and alternatives, returns on deliberations on May 31st after the Memorial Day holiday. On June 1, the jury reaches a verdict. The jury unanimously finds the Heard defendant awarding him 5 million in punitive damages and 10 million in compensatory damages. The jury also awards her 2 million in compensatory damage in her counterclaim, but nothing in punitive damages. Following the verdict, Depp says the jury gave me my life back. From the beginning, the goal of bringing this case was to reveal the truth, regardless of the outcome. His statement states, speaking the truth was something that I owed to my children and to all those who have been remained steadfast in the support of me. I feel at peace knowing I am finally accomplished that. Howard says she is heartbroken by the decision. I've been even more disappointed that what this verdict means for the other women. Her statement reads, it is a setback. It sets back the clock to a time when a woman who spoke up and spoke out could be publicly shamed and humiliated. It sets back the idea that violence against women is not taken seriously. Since the trial concluded, Deep have appeared at the MTV Video Music Award, where he surprised the audience by showing up his Moon Man. In October, Heard filed a brief laying the groundwork to appeal jury's decision. In November, more than 130 people, including Glorious, an organization in field of women's rights advocacy and domestic violence and sexual assault awareness, signed an open letter to support Heard. In December 19, Heard announced in an Instagram post that she settled the defamation case. It is important for me to say that I never chose this. She wrote, I defended my truth and doing my life as I knew it was destroyed. The vilification I have faced in social media is an amplified version of the ways in which women are re victimized. when they come forward. She thanked her supporters and legal team and vowed will not be threatened, disheartened, or dissuaded by the happened by speaking the truth. That was the end of the whole story. I hope I'll come up with a new story, a real case, which I can explain you better. Awesome. You guys take care. Have a good time. Truth always wins.